Hello everyone, Hector Mendoza here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install the brackets. I'm going to show you how to get a measurement so that you can mark your walls and put this in your walls. I have a video on how to install and assemble this. This is the 304.289.20. It's a 13 3/4 by 13 3/4 by 13 3/4 two drawer cabinet. So you know, it's one of those that that opens up just by doing that. But what I'm going to do is show you how to install these brackets. It's real simple. Now you have a manual. There's no writing in the manual, so watch what I do, and it's pretty simple. So first of all, you're gonna have all of this inside this box here. Okay, so you have this anchor metal devices that go on each side, and then you're gonna get 5 each of those two. You'll have 2 of those and 2 little screws, plus they also provide you with one of them. Okay, so let me show you how to do this. All right, so there's going to be 2 brackets. You're going to have a hole here, and you're going to have a hole here. Now this bracket will go on the left hand side. Remember, when you're installing this thing, there's a number 1, and it always refers to that whenever you're watching the instructions. So when you place this thing in here, sometimes it'll fit like it's not going in perfect. You have a little notch here that's going to go in between this panel and inside this groove. So whenever you push them in here, if it's not level here, then you know you don't have it correct. So you're going to get your fat anchor, and you're going to stick them in here. Go ahead and do the other one. Secure this other side so you can have hands-free operation, right? So that puts it in there. Now, these things are a little tough to put in there. So I would use 2 hands and just push it in there like that. Okay, you hear it snap twice, right? So let me try this other one. So it's gonna go right in here. Let me get out of the gal's way. I'm putting both fingers and push it. Okay, let's go ahead and do the other one. So anytime I'm working, I always have only the necessary tools, materials that I'm using at that point. That way I don't knock them out and lose them, right? So let me see if I want y'all to be able to see what I'm doing here, and we should be able to do it just like this. Okay, so again, so let me show y'all something. Remember, this things is what's gonna hold whenever these things are put in position. Well, this be the opposite. It's gonna fit right in here like this. That's what's gonna hold it. Okay, so you have to make sure that this is looking like this. So watch this. It went in pretty easy. This little notch went in right inside there. There's a little small little area that it actually fits in there. Remember, if you see it and there's a gap there, then you need to push it in so that that little notch goes right in there. Okay, so now again, we go ahead and put this one first. Then we'll put this one in that little hole. Secure it so we can have 2 hands. Go in here, push up, and snap again. One more time. Hopefully y'all can see that. I'm going to use both hands. And there you go. Okay, that's that part. Now, in the manual, it tells you to put, let me make sure we are right here. You have these little screws. You have an Allen wrench that came with it. So it's talking about getting this thing, and here first, just use your fingers, and it looks like all they're doing is going in just a little bit. And I don't understand what this is for, but I just follow the instructions, and it's just going out just a little bit. Okay, let's get the other one. Do the same thing. Maybe later on it'll reveal itself what this is for. I haven't been able to figure it out. So there it is. I'm just putting it just a little bit. There's no written instructions, so I can't tell exactly why this is doing that. Okay, so now, so watch what I did. Let me make sure that I move this thing where y'all can see how I'm gonna talk about what we're gonna do. Okay, so if we were to install this in the wall, this is what this is gonna go against the wall. So when I put this part against the wall, I'm going to have to be able to lift this up far enough where I could lift it and clear this right here, right? Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to push it up. Okay, so you're going to have this much clearance. Okay. So what I did, I got a measuring tape, and I measured from here to here, okay? Because I'm going to have to lift this higher than this to clear this. So I got 3.5 inches, okay? So this is what I did. Excuse my mess. I got stuff all over my little office that I created here in my RV. But this is what I'm doing this for my RV. I went in and measured. And it doesn't matter me writing on the wall because that there's going to be a cabinet there, right? So it doesn't matter, you know, if you, well, for me it doesn't matter because it's going to be covered up. So all those little screws, I'm actually going to put screws in there. So one thing you want to do is have a level when you're creating this thing. If you notice right there, there's my level. Now, if you use a level, make sure your RV's level, because then it's going to be crooked. So fortunately, my RV was level, and so now let me put screws there, and then I'll show you how to put this thing together. All right, so remember, this is going to have to go up there, okay? So I'm going to lift this thing and show you why I measured that line, the bottom of that rail, to the instructions that I gave you earlier. So now, if you are like me and making an office out of your RV, one thing that I need this thing here in that position for a particular reason. I need it there. There's no studs in this area here, okay? So right now I'm going to show you what I was conveying earlier, but I get up early in the morning, so there's no way that I could buy the anchors that I really need to replace these screws right here, because those are not going to hold in place. I need some anchors in the back that's going to hold it, okay? I just want to show you why I measured from here to here, and so basically, and remember, this is just to show you. I'll create those anchors later when the hardware store open. So I have to lift this far enough where I can stick it in there. You see, and it barely fit in there. Now, so this is what it's gonna look like right here. Okay, see, that's even. Now that's not gonna hold in place. It'll hold in place, but I travel on this RV, so I got to make sure that it's securely in place, because you know we're going to be driving 70-80 miles an hour, and I want to have this thing secure. In addition, there's no instructions for what I'm about to tell you, but if you're like me and you're anal, so what I'm going to do is go in here. I'm going to get an L, a metal. It's like they're called L anchors, I think they're what they call them. And I'm gonna further put one here and one here, so this will not go down. And I'll put some small little screws in there because I want this thing secure and I want it to last a long time. All right, so when I took this thing down, everything I thought in my mind is actually happening the way it did. This right here is real loose, okay? So I had to go and buy some anchors. Okay, so when you're selecting the anchors, make sure you know what you're getting. You need to get the right tool for the anchor. You don't want to make too big of a hole. You don't want to make too small of a hole. You don't want to struggle. You want to get this thing right the first time. When you go to the hardware store, it tells you that this is like a 3/16, right? Which it is. But in real small print underneath there, it's going to tell you the size of bit that you're going to need. So this one here in particular is a 1/2 inch bit. If you would try to do this with a 5/16, it ain't gonna work. This thing is just not gonna fit in there. So you would basically have to go in and out and make a big, it's just better to do it the right way the first time. Additionally, something to be aware of, whenever you have this anchor bolt, this thing has to go through the wall. It has to go to the other side, from here all the way to the end. Okay, so it has to clear, right? So, but here you got to make sure that behind this wall that there's enough space in this wall to clear this. So once I take this out, before I even start, I'm going to go ahead and stick this screw straight through to make sure it goes to the other end. I don't want to dent the outside of my RV, or let's say you were in a house. You don't want to dent the drywall on the other side. So let's first of all, let's go ahead and get this thing out. See, it's not even. So, okay, so that's not even working. So what we're gonna have to do is just pull on it until it comes off. Okay, maybe if I put enough pressure on there, let me see. Okay. All right, so the next thing I want to do is make sure that this will go all the way to the other side of the wall. That hole's not small enough to for me to accomplish what I need to do. So just in case, I already had, I thought that might happen, so I had another little bit, real bit, so that I could make that hole bigger. Okay, now I'm just going to temporarily, look, it clears. Okay, so I'm checking to make sure nothing is touching the back, so we're good there. Okay, now I need to go ahead and make those holes the size that I want for my anchors. So there's one. Oh, dummy. There's insulation back there. That's good. Two. What I'm going to do. So make sure you got it right where you want it. Okay. And one more right there. Okay, so I'm making a big mess. Okay, so now when I was down there, I didn't have this with me, and I didn't know if those would actually fit in there. Okay, so if you don't take something like this with you, always make sure, if you're gonna do something like this, get you a washer that's a little bit bigger than what you're gonna get. That way it will not go through that hole. I'm gonna go ahead and use those washers. I bought it, might as well use them. So so first you want to place them in their in here, right? The next thing you want to do is put this anchor height is going to go in there. Okay, you're going to screw this in there. See, you got to get it far enough to clear it. Do that with the rest of them. Okay, this one right here, there's a lot of holes in there, so I want to make sure I don't make sure I get the right one. So all you do is just, oops, make sure you got them right. Okay, you screw it in here. Okay, once you get it going, then do the next one, and so forth. Again, make sure it's the right direction. Now, if you had a 2x4, you won't have to do this. You would just need big enough screws, like 3-inch, 3.5. Okay, one more, and we'll be done. Okay, so come on, there you go. Right there. Okay, and then so when you put them in there, make sure that you can do this to it, because you're going to have to stick them in there, right? Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and place them the way that it's supposed to be. So this is how, oops, this is how this thing is going to go. So I'll place the first one. So you have to close them like this, and then it barely fits in there because that's why I was saying you got to make sure that you get the right size. If I wouldn't have had a 1/2 inch, it would have been a lot harder. Even then, it's a little hard right now. Okay, you see, I stuck it in there. Now I'm going to do the next one. And now you can go ahead and push it all the way in. And now you see, it won't come out no more, right? That way when you do the rest of them, get it in here. Got to wiggle it in there till it gets in there. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this a little bit easier. One tool I didn't think about. I really shouldn't use this tool for this. This is not the right kind of tool, but I can't find my other tool, my other hammer. So look. And even that's hard. Okay, so one thing you can do is go in here. Look, you can do this one. Kind of bore out that hole. Now that should go in there easier. And it did. Okay, so push it in all the way in. Okay, first let me go ahead and do all of those like that. That way we don't have that problem. Okay, let's try it again. Go in, squeeze, push. Okay, go in. And do the last one. The holes are just barely big enough. Okay, there we go. And the last one. Okay, so make sure they're all secure. Then what you want to do is you have to kind of pull on it so that it holds in the back. Now let me see, sometimes what I'm going to actually do is hold the washer in the back so that it'll pull it in, and then I can, oops, wrong. You see, I'm pulling it out. Pulling it out so that it'll hold in the back. The same thing here. And then you can also pull on this right here, and it'll give you. Okay, now before we okay, now I can already feel it, that it's a lot more secure. Now, remember earlier in the video, I had drew this line for the bottom of this, right? So make sure before you tighten it that you line it up so that it's even. Okay, and that's pretty even right there. Okay, just like that. Now, okay. Okay, that is secured. Okay, now, so we can get this out. I'll clean it at the top. Let me move this thing over. There's my trash can back there. Okay. Now, you see, that's real secure now. I could feel it before that it wasn't. All you have to do now is just come in here, and then you see it pushes right in position. Oops, there it is, right there. Now something is not. It's pretty secure, but it's not even. Something's binding. Here, pick it up. There it is. Perfect. Now it's in position. So now I can put my stuff up here. So now the next thing that I want to do, because remember I was talking about earlier that I want this thing real secured. It's probably secured if I wasn't moving around. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go in here and put some L braces, right? I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one here. Additionally, what I did earlier, when I put that bracket, I'm going to do the same thing. That's why I bought enough brackets so that I can put them in the back of here. I don't need them here, on each side, and it'll secure it real good, okay? It'll help it stay up, and it'll help it move left and right. Whenever you're doing all this stuff, those screws, you got to make sure that it's not going to pass through here. Otherwise, either you're going to get where this thing doesn't open up anymore, or you're going to damage it. So these screws, you got to make sure that they are not past this. Let me see. And that's easy to figure that out once you start putting it in there. All right, so all right, so remember what I was talking about earlier. You want to make sure that this is going to pass, that it will not pass this right here. And if you can see, it's probably hard for y'all to see, but I can tell that that screw will never pass this right here. Okay, so now I created me a little point here. I don't need to do nothing to this side as far as markings, because once I secure this, all I'm going to have to do is get one of the screws and screw it in there. So let's go ahead and do that first. So we're going to go in here. Make sure we make it big enough, because remember the problem we had earlier. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. I don't need a washer on this because this little hole is a lot smaller than that other one. So we'll, oops. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if I can do it better this time. Hey. Hey, yeah, it was easy. Okay, so it's secured back there. And while I'll pull out, I can use my drill bit and screw it in. Be careful, don't screw yourself in there. Okay, so we can move this up a little bit so that hole kind of hides it. Okay, so we're gonna secure this one. Okay, let's move it up just a hair. Okay. Now, all I gotta do is do this. Let me get this thing out of the way here. This is okay. Okay. Now the last thing is getting this. I'm glad I know how to use both hands because I'm right-handed. There you go. So now that feels a lot secure. So the last thing I'm going to do, you're not going to be able to see this because there's no way I can get the camera on this other side. I'm going to do the same thing I did here. Nobody would ever see back here, but I'm going to measure the distance from here to here, up here, just my analness. I want to make sure that it's in the same position on this other side. Okay, so that is it with this cabinet. Okay, so watch my other videos because I got, this is the next guy I'm going to do right here. Here's a big one. Not big one, he's a 27 inch. Thank you for watching my video. I'll see you on the next one.